This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by the former European Cruiserweight champion, Tommy McCarthy. Tommy, how are you?
I'm all good. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, mate. It's always a pleasure. We saw you last in the ring back in July against Chris Billam-Smith. Very interesting fight, exciting to watch as well. A lot of people thought you'd done enough to get the victory. If I can take you back for a second, how did you feel when you were waiting to hear the judges' scores read out?
Yeah, at the end, I did. I thought I'd done enough. I knew it was a close fight, but I just felt that the championship rounds, I closed the show. And then when Diamante called it, and still I thought it was mine, and I felt like the ref was going to put my hand up, and then he went, Chris Billam-Smith, or Commonwealth champion. I was like, oh, geez. So I was gutted, but I was more disappointed in myself because like there was stages in that fight where, I was out boxing him like with ease, and I felt like I should have won the fight. It was there for me to win comfortably, and I just made it so difficult for myself. So I really, let the fight. I gave it away. It shouldn't have been that close. I still thought I wanted it, but it was my fault for letting it even be a debatable decision.
Have you watched it back many times?
No, just once.
And when you watched it back, was there anything different from your initial reflections having just finished the fight?
No, not too much. Somebody said to me, when you watch this back, you're gonna kick yourself. And I really did. When I watched it back, I was so disappointed in the way I allowed the fight the change. And I knew what went wrong anyway at the end, and I kind of got caught up in the hype of it during the fight. And it was like the first round when I caught him with a right hand and his legs went. So then the next 3 or 4 rounds, I'm just like looking for this big overhand right, where I'm experienced enough to know, you don't go chasing an outlet or chasing that shot. But I don't know why. I think it was just, it's the first fight with crowds and all the atmosphere. Just, I stopped thinking. So when then, from rounds 2 to like 5, when I'm looking for that big shot, Chris Billam-Smith started getting back into it. So then the fight was going like this. And then in the 6th round, when I got the cut, I think that's my first time getting cut. And it was a bad one as well. And I kind of was like feeling sorry for myself a wee bit in the middle rounds. And then when I turned it back on from like round 9 or 10 through to the end, it was almost too late, to get back into the groove. But that's my assessment of it. Just let it get too close when it was there for me to dominate.
There was a lot of back and forth between the two camps in the build-up. Having shared 12 rounds with him, although you're disappointed in yourself not pressing the issue a bit more and making it an easier night, do you have more respect now for Chris Billam-Smith?
Yeah, definitely. Because before the fight, he just struck me as somebody, I don't even know if he is posh, but he just struck me as like a posh rich boy, who wouldn't bite down the gum shield when the going got tough. But as you said, it was a good fight. It was going back and forward, and it was tough enough, and he grinded it out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, well, it looked straight after the fight as if the plan was for an immediate rematch, but I believe the cut you suffered has caused that to potentially be delayed. Just tell us how the cut's getting on now.
Well, yeah, it was 18 stitches after the fight, 17 or 18, and there's no like outside and inside, and it's still a small bit swollen, but it was closed for like 10 days after, and it's just a horrific cut. So I got a 90-day suspension as well, from no medical suspension until it was good to go. So during the last week, I got the clearance from the doctor and I'm good to go. But in the interim stages, Chris Billam-Smith, a fight was announced for me. Is it this weekend or next weekend?
This weekend against Dylan Brajon.
So I don't know. I was told that his camp were interested, and Eddie came out publicly and said, "Yeah, we'll do it again." And fight fans did enjoy it, and they did want to see it again. So I was under the assumption that it was going to happen, but I don't know. I may have missed my opportunity.
Well, let's hope not. I know he's got Brajon this weekend, and then I know Fabio Turkey, who you've beaten, of course, is the mandatory contender. Not sure how strong the EBU are going to be on pressing that for Billam-Smith.
Hopefully not, because at the end of the day, I was the champion, and it was a controversial decision. So, and it was a fan friendly fight. So, this fight that Smith's having, on paper, it should be straightforward enough for him. So he gets that out of the way. Hopefully I can get my shot again. But you never know with boxing. It's always just up in the air all the time.
What, if anything, can you tell us about the challenger on Saturday, Dylan Brajon of France? Potentially someone you might have looked at for a defence at some point?
No, the first time I heard of him was when he fought Turkey I think he fought Turkey last time.
Yeah, for the EU
EBU belt, yeah. And he wasn't too bad. Like he I think he gave Turkey a tough enough fight. So it may not be as straightforward as people think for Billam-Smith, but I don't know if this guy's boxed at this kind of level. And Billam-Smith's improving all the time as well, where he's obviously getting good sparring with a Coley. And whoever Coley brings in for sparring partners, Smith will jump in with him too. So I'm expecting Smith to win.
Would it always kind of irritate you if you don't get that rematch, or is there some comfort in the fact that in your mind that you won the fight initially?
I don't know, it depends on where my career would go. Like if I never got the rematch and I never got the opportunity to, if I had to go back down the friggin' 6 and 8 rounders and try and rebuild again, then it would kill me. But if Billam-Smith swears rematch and I get a big fight next and I can still continue to fight at that level, then it wouldn't bother me too much, because I believe I beat him, and many others out there feel the same way. So it's not like as if it doesn't eat away at me the way React did, because I was so embarrassing. So it depends on where my career goes, but there's nobody else I want to fight right now apart from Billam-Smith, just to avenge it, because like I said, it was there for the taking and I let it slip through my hands.
Are you back training punching now?
Yeah, I've been training for the whole time, but the only thing I just wasn't sparring or anything. So I knew, because when the doctor done the stitches, he said 90 days, and I was like, right, so hopefully I'll be able to fight. No, I didn't say, I'd say I'll be able to fight in December, and as long as I keep training, then I could have 4 weeks sparring. I'll be ready for December. So I kept training with December in my mind, but I think the matchroom shows in December, the 11th and the 18th, and they're done. So it's probably looking like I'll be fighting again in the new year, unless they done like a later December one, but it's highly unlikely.
What's kind of the plan B from what you've discussed with your team, managers Mark Dunlop, of course, if the Billam-Smith rematch doesn't come together? How would you like to progress?
To get fight for one of the titles out there, like Intercontinental, and put me in a good position. I'm in a good position anyway in the rankings across the major bodies, but get one of them belts and then get the world title shot, because the ultimate goal has always been, world champion. And even coming off that loss, one of the champions could say, I can still get an opportunity, but ideally I'd like to get a fight back. If I don't get the Smith, get a fight back for one of them belts and then push on.
And will you continue to work with Matchroom regardless of whether you get that rematch?
Well, I'm signed with them, I'm contracted with them, and Matchroom, it's the place everybody wants to be, like, so, and they get the opportunities. They're good at building people's careers, so yeah.
Something I want to ask you before I let you go. When Cole Frampton came into the team and the corner for the Billam-Smith fight, a lot of people, particularly in his camp, were saying it's part of the mind games. Did he have kind of a practical impact on what went on?
Yeah, well, it was good to have him there because, he's experienced at all the levels, and he'd fought for European title before and defended it. And so, usually my team is small. I don't have an entourage or anything. So, it was just Pete, Mark, my manager, and my cousin who does my strength and conditioning, Lloyd. So that's usually just how we roll, is keep a real tight knit. But those three never haven't boxed at the world levels, you know what I mean, as professionals. And so to have Carter, who knows, like what you're going through in these big fights, like he had all the stuff that I needed. He brought like a wee bag. I didn't even have to ask him for anything. He just went, here, do you want this, do you want that? And he just had everything there. It was very, very good. And he was familiar, like with the emotions of a fighter, because obviously trainers and managers, they get nervous before big fights too. But Mark and Pete and Lloyd have been through it before. But as a fighter, Carl is only one who can relate what the fighter's nerves are before. So it was good to have him there, like to talk to me and try and keep me calm.
Do you think you'll bring him in for future fights?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like me and Carl are good friends anyway.
Cool.
So behind the scenes, me and Carl are always talking, and he's always giving me advice. And it was the first time, obviously, he actually worked the corner, and it was brilliant. So I've asked him, he said he enjoyed it too. So I've asked him, would he do it again? And he's up for it. So
recently, Matchroom signed Kevin Ajarko to a contract, and he made his intentions clear once again that he wants to become the first Black Irishman to win a world title. Crown that he'll be vying for, or history-making feat that he'll be vying for against you. Is there any do you ever talk to him? Do you talk to each other about that and who's going to get there first? Is there kind of a friendly rivalry thing?
No, I never talked to Kevin, and that's what he's saying, and like I'm like right there, like I'm right on the cusp of it. So if he did it before me, it would be like it would be shocking. Like, what have I done? That means I'd just be getting beat for the next 4 or 5 years. But nah, look, he's a young guy, and he's ambitious, so that's good for him.
Well, if you can both get there, as long
that's it.
From your point of view,
my goal always, when I joined boxing as a kid, there wasn't, like, I've been boxing from before Kevin even lived in Ireland, you know what I mean? And I remember when he came over and I was, trying to take him under my wing a wee bit for a while when he's a kid. But my thing was always, I want to be the first black world champion because I was the only black kid in the gym and in all the competitions and that, you know what I mean? And then as I got older, I was like, I just, I'm just gonna keep pushing, and it was becoming more of a reality to me. But as long as my ultimate goal was always to be a world champion. So if he won a world title before me, it wouldn't make me stop. You know what I mean? I'll still want to be a world champion, but as I say, I'm a good bit further on than him. So good luck to him.
How valuable do you think it could be, that kind of history making part of things, for representation for kids that are in the gym now? Probably not the only black kid in the gym in Ireland anymore, but still having that role model who's, looks like them. It's important.
Do you know what? I've never even really thought about that kind of representation for young kids coming up, but it is very important because when I was young, it was Darren Sutherland was the guy I looked up to, and I just really had so much admiration for him. And then when we started talking, it was almost like a big brother kind of guy in the gym. Not that I was like, because he's from Dublin and I'm from Belfast, but we're both on a nice small team. So I loved when he was in the gym, and he always made loads of time for me. And he was breaking down barriers. He's Ireland's first Olympian who's of any ethnic minority, and it was just, he was someone who I was like, wait, I want to be like him, And I actually thought that Darren Sutherland was going to be the first black world champion. So then it kind of, in my mind, I was like, you know what, I just want to be a world champion. It doesn't matter, because I was convinced that Sutherland was going to do it, and he passed before his time. But it's just, I want to have an impact on my culture, and my culture is, it's a mixed heritage of Irish and black. So I want, like the black guys to be like, listen, that's one of ours, and he's the first. Tommy McCarthy was the first Irishman to win the world title, and then I want the Irish guys to say the same thing. Tommy, that's one of ours. Tommy McCarthy is the first black man to win the Irish title. So it's more about impact on the culture, and then obviously it has the ripple effect, the youngsters and everyone.
That's brilliant. Well, fingers crossed for you, I suppose is all I can say at this stage, but hopefully get you back out in the ring first of all, and looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely, if not before the end of the year, early next year. And but I definitely 100% believe that I'll be world champion in 2022.
Great stuff. I hope so. Really appreciate your time, and let's catch up again when you've got a date to come back in the diary.
Yes, no bar. Thanks for having me again, Dan.
Always, Tommy. Take care, mate. Speak
Good luck.
soon.
Bye.